Hello, hello, hello everyone. It's time for another review. Bang, bang, bang. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th review. We have 14 more to go. I apologize. There's going to be so many of these, but it has to be done. The Souvenir Part 2 is the latest film by Joanna Hogg, the director of Unrelated and The Souvenir. She's directed other films, but those two are the only ones I've seen, and I like them both quite a bit. I reviewed The Souvenir 2 years ago when it came out in theaters, and I gave it an 8, but seeing it again before seeing part 2, I dropped it down to a 7, which isn't bad, but I don't think I loved it as much as the first time around. I feel like some of the shots that last longer weren't really justified, but that's no problem in the Souvenir Part 2 because it's different in just about every way. The film is shorter, there's more dialogue, there's way more cutting, there are extended sequences that are extravagant, and most importantly, we get more Tilda Swinton, okay? This is a Tilda Swinton fest, but it does pick up right where the first film left off, which is the semi-autobiographical account of Joanna Hogg's life in the early 1980s. Honor Swinton Byrne, the daughter of Tilda Swinton, is even better in this film than she was in part 1. Like I said before, we get more Tilda Swinton, which is always a good thing because she gets to have opportunities to have really interesting scenes with Honor. Richard Ayoade steals every scene he's in a larger role than he had in part 1. He's so funny in this movie, and whenever he shows up, it's a sigh of relief because although this film isn't nearly as dry as part 1, and you don't deal with an antagonist that's unpredictable and awful, you do feel this very dark cloud that hangs over everything that Honor Swinton Byrne's character does in the film. As you've probably read, The Souvenir Part 2 is a very meta response to part 1, not just as a character dealing with the repercussions of part 1, but the film itself is sort of responding to part 1. In a way. Not like the shitty apologetic shift that The Rise of Skywalker did in response to The Last Jedi, or even what The Last Crusade did in response to Temple of Doom. I think either consciously or subconsciously, Joanna Hogg is responding to some of the feelings that people have toward Anthony as a character, and probably the responses she got when she was with the person the character Anthony is based on. Also, on a personal note, I feel even more connected to the protagonist because she's in film school, and this whole thing is happening while she's trying to direct her final film for school, and everything is going wrong, and everything that happens here I've basically seen in person, whether it happened to me or it happened to one of my classmates. It's one of the best movies I've seen that shows what it's like mentally to direct a film, and I enjoyed that aspect even though it was kind of just like looking back at trauma. And I'm sure that there are people who don't work in film who will find it just as interesting or engaging because, you know, everybody likes to see what it's like behind the curtain. I feel like that's one of the more interesting devices because whether conservatives or anti-Hollywood people would like you to think, I think everybody is sort of interested in what goes on behind the scenes of just about any show or anything that we consume in media. I mean, how many times have you talked to somebody about a movie that you liked or something and then someone brings up, oh, did you know this fun fact, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, the movie automatically is interesting on that level. I would recommend that you see The Souvenir and The Souvenir Part 2 as soon as possible. I really liked it. It's so detailed. The characters are all interesting. The Souvenir Part 2 is surprising in so many ways, but I won't spoil it for you. I think with all of these reviews, I'm trying my best to like give you an essence of what the movie is without spoiling any of the plot, because once you know the plot, like the plot isn't everything, but if you know exactly what's going to happen, it's hard to get invested in the other aspects that the film is trying to deliver to you, so I'm trying not to do that. I think we can all collectively add The Souvenir Part 2 to the list of sequels that are better than the original, and I'm giving The Souvenir Part 2 an 8 out of 10. Yeah, that's a lot of 8 out of 10 reviews this week. That's what I'm about. It's good movie season, y'all. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you agree or disagree, tell us in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share with your friends. Do all the things. The Matrix video is coming soon, blah, 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 blah. You know what? Fuck it. The Halloween special is coming soon, even though at the point that I'm recording this, Glenn and I haven't recorded it yet, but it's coming. You'll get it, and it's gonna be good. All right, bye-bye.
You have to get past the Avengers and Marvel shit at some point, okay? Other people make movies.